Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hopsgeeknews, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows, and you get a special edition of me being a pirate again this week as I am still missing my eye. Not really. It's just I'm pirate. One listen a day gets you to regenerate my eyeball. But aside from that, we do have an exciting creator spotlight today with Jon Dexter, who is back. We're going to be talking about the first 5 issues of Dime Store Detective. Volume 1 is now on Kickstarter until December 5th. So make sure you check that out. We had him on about a year ago now where we got to talk about the first issue. And so we're going to kind of go over what he's been up to. And yeah, we're going to talk about the Kickstarter. So check out the show links in the notes here if you want to back it, which you definitely should. And without further ado, Jon, welcome back. How have you been? And what's life been like over the last year for you?
Oh, good, good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I just got back actually this weekend from the Grand Rapids Comic Con. It was the last
Ooh.
Comic Con of the year. It was really great. I almost broke my sales record, which was awesome. So, and then I'm doing the Kickstarter, of course, right now for Dime Store Detective Volume 1. This year I was signed by a publisher, which is awesome. Source Point Press is my publisher. Earlier this year in February, it was the first release in bookstores for Alpha Dogs, which is currently available on pre-order through Lunar, which was one of my check marks I was able to do. I wanted to get signed by a publisher, got that, and wanted to be able to get distributed to comic stores around the nation. So I'm begging everybody out there, if you could go to your LCS and ask them to pre-order Alpha Dogs Volume 1 through Lunar, that'd be great help to me, because I've been on the phone to comic shops, emailing while doing this Kickstarter for my
Yeah.
Dime Store Detective Volume 1, which will be distributed sometime in 2026 through Lunar.
That's exciting, man. That's a
Had a
big
great year,
year.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
an
that's
awesome
big. That's
follow-up.
awesome. Like Comic Cons and getting signed by a publisher. That's really incredible work and a testament to what you've done, because we've gotten to read your work and it is fantastic. And so, why don't you take us into this world with Detective Donald McKinder? Back into there, kind of give a quick refresh of what we talked about on the first issue, who he is, what it's about, and kind of spoiler free about this volume.
Yeah, so Dime Store Detective is a supernatural crime mystery. It's very rare, I think, that comics delve into these two subgenres and combine them. So it's a really great original story. So Dime Store Detective is about Donald McIntyre. He's this kind of maverick detective in North Georgia along the Appalachian Mountains. He's on a hunt for a serial killer. So whenever you look at the pages, and again on the Kickstarter as well, whenever it's in color, we're in the present when he's Detective McIntyre is on the hunt for the serial killer. Then whenever it turns to the sepia tones, we flash back to 1981 when the detective is 8 years old, raised by moonshiners, and his family are 5 generations of proud North Georgians who have been running moonshine for, like as I said, for 5 generations, to repeat myself. And then the Dixie Mafia, this violent gang of murderers, drug runners, try to push the family out of their moonshining business. But, they're proud people, and they end up going to war with them. And in issue 2, the two brothers, the McIntyre brothers, they accidentally released this evil entity that's been trapped in a cave in the Appalachian Mountains for hundreds of years. And this evil entity possesses the uncle. And then, of course, the results of that is this crazy war that breaks out with the moonshiners, and because this evil entity possesses these supernatural powers. And then we flash forward to the present and go back and forth as this evil entity is somehow connected to this serial killer that we're not sure. So Detective McIntyre believes that there's a pretty good possibility this evil entity is somehow returned in the present. There's also a underground cult of Georgia's finest, the elite of Georgia, running this kind of underground Epstein Island-esque sex cult.
Oh, geez.
Oh, Allison Mack's probably hanging out there then. Yeah.
Yeah. And this cult of the rich and powerful called this evil entity, and then one day it actually answers, and that kind of sets off this domino effect of Dime Store Detective.
Oh, so we're kind of dealing with like a lot of really cool elements here. First, like the supernatural, to get to that is, over these first five issues, did you dive into any of the lore from the Appalachian Mountains? Like, I know there's all sorts of crazy stories, if something calls out to you from the woods at night, you don't answer back, things of that nature. So what kind of like research did you dive into on that aspect?
Well, mostly just the urban legends that have existed. Missing people. There's recently this guy. It was actually a phone call from this individual, the cop, that this creature jumped in the back of his truck because he's going through the Appalachian Mountains and was scared shitless, of course, if I can swear. I don't know. Sorry about that.
Of course you can. I mean, that was
if something jumps in the back of your truck, yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, the cop was petrified. I mean, from the sounds, obviously, who knows, but it seemed pretty real. There's just so many interesting urban legends of, Bigfoot or, these creatures, and the disappearances go on, a long list. It's the Appalachian Mountains that, there's a lot. I'm sure bodies buried everywhere. And we open up on Dexter Detective with the third victim of the serial killer. She's left in the Appalachian Mountains in this kind of Christ-like pose, nude.
I remember that because it's like in the very beginning of the comic, right? So that's not something you forget.
Yeah. And she's left over the burial grounds. The detective's father and uncle had buried multiple bodies 40 years earlier when they were involved with the Moonshiner War. So Detective Mackinder knows that something is going on that's connecting, trying to get his attention. And as the story goes on, we slowly kind of, peel away this onion.
So is this volume 1 going to wrap it up, or are you going to keep going after this?
No, so it's 9 issues in all. And this volume 1 covers the first 5 issues. The cool thing is when I first started doing it, I had the flashbacks in black and white because I couldn't really afford color.
Yeah.
It was tight budget. But once I got a publisher and they started kind of getting more popular, I was able to do it the way I wanted to do it. And all the pages are in this beautiful sepia tone that kind of helps with that, old school vibe of what I'm going for with the dime store noir, subgenre.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. And I mean, looking at the Kickstarter too, like a lot of, and we did get to read, and I did love that, but you're right. Looking at some of the flashbacks that we see on the Kickstarter page, it does have that like gritty, there's some grit to it as well. And I think a lot of the time too, with the Moonshiner aspect, there's a lot of grittiness there. So what was it like as far as like bringing these two worlds together? Was there anything that you kind of learned or thought of that you're like, ooh, keeping that in the back of my pocket for later on, that kind of surprised you even?
Well, like I take a long time to develop my stories. The genesis of it actually was I had heard about back when they were hunting Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan. There were caves so dense that they were unexplored, and I thought that's incredible that some of these caves have never been set foot in.
Yeah.
How interesting it would be if the Marines, have to take shelter in this cave, and inside is this evil entity that's been trapped, and they cross this line that ends up releasing this evil entity, and it possesses. So that kind of was the start of it. And then I just was fascinated with the Dixie Mafia and how no one had told us their story. We've heard of the New York Mafia. This is the Dirty South version, and I just thought, wow, it's such a rich history. And I thought it would just be really fascinating and really original to kind of combine those elements into this story. There's, once it's a detective mystery and you go in and building, and then you get the supernatural element to it that I think always keeps people guessing. And, it's to some people say it's their favorite indie comic. And that's so cool to hear people that are really responding to it.
Yeah, I mean, based on just the first issue that we read over a year ago, like I remember reading it too because my favorite show is Supernatural, and it's got the cool car, and it's got the dad and the hunting monsters and all these things.
Yeah,
but it's interesting because it's obviously they're doing everything undercover, they're not legit, they're not working with the cops, and here you have an actual detective, so it's a cool spin. So I'm excited to keep reading. So when we had you on last, I believe you had said it had been 8 issues. So was there more story you wanted to tell, or did it just come across better in 10 issues
or 9?
Yeah, 9 issues. Yeah. Well, what happened was the last issue was going to be really long, and I had cut a scene out with the detective. So the Detective McIntyre has not seen his father in 30 years. And I wanted to kind of show in between the 30 years when his father kind of tells him not to show back up again. And plus we get a backstory of Detective McIntyre between the ages of 8 and then, he's almost 50 here in the present time. So I wanted something kind of in between to give a little backstory of where he was at and what was going on in his life. So I was able to put that back in the story, which was good. And plus, like I said, the last issue, when you're writing it, you've got it in your head and kind of got it filled out. And then it just kept going and going because I didn't want to cut anything. I wanted some really cool splash pages for that last issue because it all hell breaks loose and all comes together with the past to the present.
I like that. Yeah. Especially, adding to the story and good ideas. Like I'm loving that. And now with the Kickstarter, you've crossed your goal, which is awesome. I mean, we still got about another week. You got another week to go, which is incredible. So what are you guys doing on the Kickstarter this time for the entire volume 1? What are some cool perks that people can look forward to?
Yeah. So in this one, one of the rewards that I would tell people to check out is you can get all my comics, my graphic novel for Alpha Dogs, which again was also signed. Much different story, but if you love dogs, if you love superhero stories, then you love Alpha Dogs. And I have my Space Cruise, and it's a sci-fi comedy, issue 1 of that. So that's a great one to kind of get everything that I've done. And again, very tough to get a publisher. You got to know what you're doing. I just not to toot my own horn, but you kind of got to be
very hard. You should absolutely toot your own horn. This is incredible.
To get a publisher, I think it's a testament that these are good quality original stories that people will enjoy. So that's a cool reward. If you want, money's tight for everybody, so you could get the digital version for $40. You're talking close to 300 pages of comic for only $40. So I think that's a good deal too. And I'm marching towards the first stretch goal of a Kickstarter exclusive sticker. There's unused prints that were going to be covers. That's one of the stretch goals that hopefully we can hit. So it's it's a lot of work, of course, as anybody that's running Kickstarter, but it's a labor of love. You don't make any money at it, that's for sure.
No, yeah, comics it is, but it's also incredible getting to show off, to tell these stories, and be able to share the artwork. And I mean, to get signed by a publisher, which is a big goal of yours, and then I'll see your books in comic stores. That's absolutely something to toot your own horn about, because not everybody gets to say that, and it is incredible too that people are picking it up. Because there's a lot of good comics right now. We're in like a comic revolution almost, and getting to see yours out there too, it's absolutely amazing, and that's something to for sure be proud of.
Yeah, you think it'd be easier as you go along, and this is my 14th Kickstarter. It'd be easier, but it's always an uphill battle because Kickstarter has just become so inundated with comics. There's so many comics on there now that it's really survival of the fittest, I guess you could say, because it's tough, especially it's just me. I'm the creator, I'm the writer. I'm not the artist, of course, but it's basically me trying to promote myself, and of course we all have to have day jobs, we have to have insurance.
Right.
So,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's tough to get backers, but going on shows like yours really helps a lot.
Well, of course, we love having you. And I know you said that we can look for this in 2026. So you've just wrapped up your last Comic-Con of the year. What can we look forward aside from, this book getting to come out and be released in stores, whether it's more books or comic conventions to find you at?
Yeah. So currently right now I'm trying to set up signings for the release of Alpha Dog's graphic novel Through Lunar, trying to get into some comic book stores, setting that up, and then starting my schedule for the 2026 Comic Cons. Right now, I'm going to be featured by Prana. So Lunar's just, the distributor. Well, then there's the middleman, there's the publisher. So I'm going to be doing kind of a spotlight to showcase the release of Alpha Dogs Volume 1 Through Lunar. That's going to be coming up pretty soon, interview. So hopefully it'll be able to gain some comic shops to carry the title, because that's, this ain't, I'm unknown basically, so it's obviously very difficult. And that's why I would ask people if they could ask their little comic stores to pre-order. It would be a big help, because, hopefully, if it can get kind of big, then hopefully my career can take off and I can have the comics pump out a lot faster than what I'm doing, because it's again a labor of love, but very expensive.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I want to say it's my comic shop here in Virginia that I went to, that I saw is one of the comic shops I went to around here. I'm pretty sure I saw Alpha Dogs. So I'm going to have to go to my comic cubicle. It's called here in Williamsburg. And if I do see it, I'm definitely going to let you know for sure, because I'm pretty sure it's there.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I can never keep track. I called so many comic book shops I couldn't even.
Well, I mean, you got to, yeah, absolutely. And honestly, people, this could be your next favorite comic book. You never know unless you give it a chance. So I would definitely implore people, hey, give this a chance. There's so many good stories out there. A lot of people may have this preconceived notion that comic books are just superheroes, and that's not the case. As you can see with Dime Store Detective, or, even Alpha Dogs, it has a twist on the superhero take. So pick these up, check them out, take that chance, and you never know, you might actually be surprised. And I know I've gotten Lauren turned on to some comics that she never would have read, and vice versa. I mean, I
never thought I'd read about a serial killing bear. Who knew?
Yeah, exactly. And I watched Supernatural.
I'm reading The Secret Life of Trees, I believe it's called. I've never thought of that, but it's a great graphic novel, and it's a bio book with interesting. I mean, trees are kind of fast that you don't even think about, and he's able to, I of course can't think of the author off the top of my head, but yeah, it's there's a lot of great comics you never even imagined you'd like. And with Dime Store Detective, if you love I would say, True Detective, Stephen King's It, LA Confidential, if you're an Ed Brubaker fan, then you really enjoyed the series. And if you're a horror fan or a thriller fan, then you'd enjoy it too. It kind of crosses a lot of genres.
Big right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had somebody on a while ago, and they said that their local comic shop had a local like indie section, and I wish we would see that in more comic shops. Like debut your local comic artist. Actually, Epic Comics did that with Alexis Weil, where they were you had her come in and promote her local comic. So if you have a comic shop and you want them to promote local stuff or indie stuff, you got to let them know there's a demand for it. But I wish more places would do that.
Yeah, my big get this year was I live in Michigan, and I wrote to Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. The
nice,
famous Michael Zapek. I asked if I could get, because they got a little store and a little section with small indie guys, and so I wrote to him about carrying carrying my titles, and he said, "Well, I got to look at them first, read them first, because there's a small section." He read them, he enjoyed them enough that they're actually my titles are on.
That's amazing.
Secret Stash, New Jersey. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I got to visit there a couple of years ago. It's like a mini Kevin Smith museum, and then it's this would be so cool to be my actual local shop. So
I know.
That's really cool. Yeah. It's another reason to visit there.
Yeah. So it was cool, and I'm in I'm in quite a bit of the local comic book shops around here, which is really nice too. So, and I signed the comics, so they actually sell pretty decent.
Yeah. That's awesome.
When artists do that.
Yeah, I do. Really cool. I do too. I've seen that's going in there and signing them, and that's a fun aspect. So where can people also find you on social media aside from your work, which I'm going to link in here, but I would love to link your social media for people to also find you and follow you.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, of course. I'm also have a Facebook group called Jon Dexter Comics. I'm on X at Real Alpha Dogs. I'm on Instagram at alpha_dogs_comic. I didn't know I was going to, when I first started out, I didn't know I'd be able to get past issue 1. So I made all my socials for Alpha Dogs, my first one. And so now I'm kind of stuck with that. Which is fine, but that's how you find me on there. And I'm on, of course, Lunar, my Alpha Dogs on Lunar, and Source Point Press's website. I'm on, my stuff's on there too.
Awesome. Well, as always, Jon, thanks for coming on and chatting about this with us. You guys make sure, let your local comic book shops know that you want this comic book or any others, whether it's Alpha Dogs, whether it's Dime Store Detective, anything that Jon is doing, it's worth checking out. And make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, all of that good stuff. And once more, Jon, we really appreciate your time coming on, sharing these comic books with us. And like I said, this could be somebody's next favorite comic book.
Yeah, and like I said, thanks for carving out a piece of your day to allow me to come out.
Always.
And talk. I really appreciate it.
We love getting to highlight and support, indie comics, and everybody, homies help homies. That's a big thing here. So thank you again. And for everybody out there, let us know if you picked it up. Let us know if you're back to Kickstarter. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good Thanksgiving, because it is coming up this week in America. Cheers, everybody.